Hey guys, so this week we're going to be covering part 2 of how I got from here to here. Let's hit it.
You're just living, man. You're just there in that moment, that special place and time.
Okay guys, so we left off last week. I finished up the 10 gallon and I said I would talk about the 29 gallon and then the crazy story that was going on. That's where you see the pictures from, the before and after of my battles. Now the battles really started, honestly, I'm just going to kick it off, the battle started with plants. It's a completely different battle when you're dealing with plants versus just a tank with fake plants and no plants, because certain algae happen with those tanks, certain algae don't happen with tanks without plants. But from the research I found too, and plus I wanted to do plants in the first place, so I knew my goal was set. I'm getting plants. But I knew that plants could help with certain algae, but I did not know they could also have problems with others. More of a battle. So let's get into it. Going from the 10 gallon to here, what we did is when we found out that Smooches, my 9-year-old Cory catfish, was not doing so hot. We wanted to put him in the best environment possible, and so we found out that sand was the best thing possible. So then I started doing research. How can I get sand? You know, what's the best way to build a tank with sand with like no budget whatsoever? Ended up getting this tank from a friend, absolute blessing. Really quick, happened in like a couple weeks, I believe. Then we got sand, and I figured out what's the best type of substrate underneath the sand for the plants so that they could grow real well and be healthy. And once the tank was up and going, which believe it or not guys, only took a couple days to get up and going and healthy, and the water was testing great. And so I go ahead and we went and took the fish we had existing in the 10 gallon, which was Barbara, the big pink neon glowfish over here. And then we had Smooches, the 9-year-old Cory catfish, and we had 3 lamb trap rasboras, probably the, we had 3. And then, and so we moved them all into here, and they were doing great. And then at that time too, my friend gave me these 2 beautiful couple right here, male and female, white or albino Cory catfish as well. And so not only did Smooches have a great environment, he had friends also to hang out with and have fun. And so he lived for quite a while longer, probably a month or a couple months or so. Then he passed away, but I knew he passed away in heaven in the best environment I could possibly give him, which is all I can ask for as a fish keeper, is to give my fish the best environment they could possibly be in. So, the algae. So when I started, I had, believe it or not, I had a Quiet Flow 30, and it was terrible. The worst filter ever, as I already talked about in a previous video. And it was not working real well, and I could obviously tell. So I started to do research, and then I got mad because I realized that I could have bought Aqua Clear filter for like almost the same exact price at that time. And I'm like, what was I thinking buying this, you know, Quiet Flow 30 knowing it wasn't that good? And so the algae at that point was like this, like the picture you guys saw. It was terrible. It covered all the plants, and I was agony for weeks. Every week I'd do a water change. I would get my hands in the tank and I would scrub the plants. That plant you see in the picture, I would scrub it until almost all the algae was off, all that I could get off. The water changes took me about 2 hours, believe it or not guys. It was unbelievable just for one tank, and I would never ask that upon anybody. And this goes right to my core belief, guys. I believe fish keeping should be easy and fun, but here's the thing, it all matters how you start. So if you start great, if you start with a good filtration, good ecosystem going, good bacteria starting, you won't have these issues that I had to deal with, that others have had to deal with. That's why they've gotten out of the fish keeping world, is because it's so hard, so many struggles, such a hassle to deal with. And so once I realized and did a lot of research, talked to the fish store that I was close to in Eugene, they definitely pointed me to get a better filter, or at least try to beef up the filter I had, which I knew my best option was just to get the new filter. And during that time, I also lost the fish. One of the reservoirs jumped out of the tank and died. And I didn't find him for like a month or more. It was gnarly. And then throughout that time we got a bunch more small fish, schooling fish that you guys now see in here. And so I went and bought the filter, the Aqua Clear filter, installed it, knew right away that this was going to make a difference in the tank. And then right around that same time we went and got a mana shrimp, because I also did a lot of research, and found that mana shrimp are possibly the best cleaners in the aquarium world. And I'm like, I would love to have some shrimp. And so, and quick funny story about that. I had no idea that shrimp, what's the word?
Shed.
They shed, or is it called like molt? They molt. And so after we got them, you know, it was like day 1, day 3, day 5, like we're seeing molts all over the tank, and they look just like dead fish to me, like dead shrimp. I can imagine like what dead shrimp would be like. So I'm thinking I'm losing a man of shrimp. I'm like, what is going on? My water parameters are fine. I'm cleaning the tank one day, and all of a sudden I'm counting the shrimp because they all came out during cleaning, you know, and there was 6 there. I'm like, what? I only started with like 3, you know, like how is there 6? Because we kept going back and buying some after they would molt because we thought they died. And then, so now we have like 6 shrimp on our hands, and then I do some research and find out that, yeah, they molt and they shed. And we're like, oh my gosh, what a fiasco, but hey, I got more shrimp now. Better cleaning, right? And so, moving on though, back to the tank. So the shrimp are in, the filter's going, things are on its road to looking good. And I'll show you guys a picture of what the tank looked like prior. Did not have this big piece of spider wood in here. But things are looking good, and the next thing, slowly but surely, as I'm doing weekly water changes, staying adamant on it, the shrimp helped, the filter helped, and now I have this beautiful aquarium that has minimal algae compared to what I had before. So that's pretty much how I got from here to there, guys. And it all has to do with the ecosystem. I learned the hard way. I always just kind of overlook the whole idea of the filter, having a nice filter. I'm thinking, man, it doesn't matter that much. You know, it's just about the water parameters and the, you know, how when you do water changes. But that's not all of it. You know, you can almost skip a water change if you have a really good ecosystem, because that bacteria will eat up all that bad bacteria that causes the algae. And, you know, doing algae solutions like blackouts and stuff like that, I've tried, they work a little bit, but they're all temporary because it never touches on the root issue of why is the algae there? Why did it get there? So that was my story, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video, smash that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below, and I'll respond to your comments right away as soon as I see it. So stay tuned for next week's video, guys. See ya.
You're just living